This call is now being recorded. So, as we have already discussed, what is multi-stage systems, and we have discussed in the multi-pressure system, we use two compressors, and this multi-stage system has three parts. First one is flash gas removal, second one flash intercooling, and third one is the combination of flash gas removal plus flash intercooling and plus water intercooling. So we have already discussed flash gas removal. The flash gas removal with multi-stage compression result in power economy and is always desirable whatever the refrigerant. So this system is always desirable, and this is the pH diagram of this multi-stage system with flash gas removal. Now we are going to discuss flash intercooling. Okay, so in this flash intercooling, we are again using this flash chamber or flash tank. In this flash tank, the superheated vapor which are coming out from the compressor first. So we have multi-stage system and we have two compressors. So the vapors which are coming out from the first compressor are superheated at state 2. And this superheated vapor converted into saturated vapor when these vapor bubble through this flash chamber. Okay, so the superheated vapor cool down and convert into the saturated vapor. Due to this heat removal, some liquid is also evaporate and convert into vapor. So the compressor 1 is dealing with a mass flow rate of m dot 1. So this compressor is dealing with a mass flow rate m dot 1. When this superheated vapor bubble through this flash chamber, some extra vapor are generated. So the mass flow rate which is going enter into the second compressor is slightly higher than the m dot 1, and we denote it m dot 2, and this m dot 2 is slightly greater than m dot 1. Since due to this heat removal, this superheated vapor convert into saturated vapor. When we bubble through this superheated vapor in the flash chamber, they convert into saturated vapor. So the heat is removed, and due to this heat, some extra vapor are generated. So the mass flow rate for the second compressor is m dot 2. Now, this saturated vapor, point to be noted, this state 3 is saturated state at an intermediate pressure. So initially we have evaporator pressure, and in the first compressor we compress the vapor refrigerant from the evaporator pressure to the flash chamber pressure or intermediate pressure PI. So at the outlet of this flash chamber, we have saturated vapor at a pressure of PI, intermediate pressure. And these vapor enter into the compressor second, where isentropic compression is occur, and at point 4, the pressure is condenser pressure. So pressure is increased from PI to PC in the isentropic compression. At point 4, we have again superheated vapor. These vapor enter into the condenser, where QC amount of heat is rejected, and this vapor convert into saturated liquid. So at point 5, we have saturated liquid. Now at this point, we have mass flow rate of m dot 2. Now this liquid is divided into two parts. In this part, process 5 to 6, the mass flow rate is m dot 2 minus m dot 1. And the remaining m dot 1 is going to the evaporator through expansion wall. Okay, so there are two processes, 5 to 6, which is with the mass flow rate of m dot 2 minus m dot 1, and the another process 5 to 7, is with the mass flow rate of m dot 1. So in the process 5 to 6, there is a isenthalpic expansion and the liquid and vapor are separated. And then in process 5 to 7, there is also isenthalpic expansion. And at point 7, the pressure is reduced from condenser pressure to the evaporator pressure. So at point 7, we have liquid plus vapor mixture, which enter in the evaporator, where it absorbs QL or Q naught amount of heat from the low temperature and produce the refrigerating effect. So due to the heat absorption, the liquid is converted into the vapor. So at point 1 or state 1, we have saturated vapor again. Okay, so let's see the pH diagram of this multi-stage system with flash intercooling. So this is the pH diagram. So as we have discussed, the mass flow rate which is going into the first compressor is m dot 1, and the mass flow rate which is going into the second compressor is m2 dot. Okay, so at point 1 we have saturated vapor. This saturated vapor enter into the compressor, where isentropic compression of the vapors occurs, and the pressure is increased from the evaporator pressure to the intermediate pressure. So pressure is increased from the evaporator pressure to the intermediate pressure. Then this superheated vapor are bubbled through flash tank. So the superheated vapor cool down to the saturated condition. So it reached at a 3 point, which is saturated vapor condition. So at 3 point, this is the entrance of the for the second compressor, and in the second compressor there is a isentropic compression, where the vapors are compressed from the intermediate pressure to the condenser pressure in process 3 to 4. Then the superheated vapor enter into the condenser, where it rejects its heat to the surrounding and cool down and condense, and at state 5 we have saturated liquid. Now from this point, 5 point, we have two processes, 5 to 6 and 5 to 7. So 5 to 6 with a mass flow rate of m2 minus m1. So there is a 5 to 6 isenthalpic expansion, and the another process 5 to 7, which is also a isenthalpic expansion, and which is with the mass flow rate of m dot 1. So at point 7, we have liquid plus vapor mixture, which is enter into the evaporator, and where it absorbs the heat from the low temperature and produce the refrigeration effect. So this is the working of the flash intercooling. Okay, so one point you should note, this flash gas removal system is always desirable. This system is always beneficial. But this flash intercooling system, in which the superheated vapor are cooled by bubble through the flash chamber, are always not desirable. If our discharge temperature is too high and the latent heat of the refrigerant is low, then the huge amount of liquid will be converted into the vapor due to this heat of the superheated vapor. Since the superheated vapor are cooled down from the superheated condition to the saturated condition, so this heat is removed. And if the latent heat is too low for any refrigerant, there is a huge amount of liquid will be evaporated. So this flash intercooling is only suitable for the refrigerant whose latent heat is very high, like ammonia. However, this flash gas removal system is always desirable. Now, next move to the next system, which is combination of all these systems. Okay, so in this system, we have flash gas removal, flash intercooling, plus water intercooling. So we are going to introduce water intercooling. So what is flash intercooling? When we cool the superheated vapor. When we bubble through this superheated vapor in the flash chamber, this is known as flash intercooling. Okay. So in this system, we have flash intercooling, and we are also removing the flash gas removal system is also there. And apart from that, there is a water intercooling. So this is the combination of all the systems, and this is the best system. Okay, and this is comfortably used with all refrigerants. This water intercooling is only used when the discharge temperature is too high. So there is an example like ammonia. Ammonia has a very high discharge temperature. So when we will do the numerical, we will see that the discharge temperature with ammonia is very high. So in that case, we can use water intercooling. Okay. So let's discuss the working of the system. So initially, at state 1, we have saturated vapor, and these saturated vapor enter into the compressor, where isentropic compression of this vapor is occurred. So at 2 points, we have a superheated vapor. So this flash intercooling is on, water intercooling is only used when the discharge temperature is too high. So if the discharge temperature is too high and you are going to directly doing the flash intercooling, directly sending this superheated vapor into the flash chamber, there may be a chances that more liquid will be evaporated. So in that case, we first do the water intercooling. Okay, so it is a isobaric process. So there is a isobaric heat removal in this process with the help of water. Okay, so it is simply a heat exchanger in which this superheated vapor are cooled down with the water. So it is completely not, after this water intercooling, the vapors are not completely saturated. They are still superheated. Then this superheated vapor bubbles through the flash chamber. And after that, these vapors are converted into the saturated vapor. So initially, our pressure is PE, evaporator pressure. And in the first compressor, the pressure is increased from the evaporator pressure to the intermediate pressure, or which is the pressure in the flash chamber. So this vapor is compressed from the evaporator pressure to the intermediate pressure. Then it is cooled in the water intercooler with the help of water, where heat is removed in a constant pressure process. So pressure will remain constant. So it is pressure remain constant. Then this vapor, superheated vapor, bubbled through the flash chamber, and it is cooled down to saturated vapor at intermediate pressure. So at point 4, we have saturated vapor at intermediate pressure. Then this saturated vapor enter into the compressor second, where it compressed in a process isentropic compression, and pressure is increased from intermediate pressure to the compressor, condenser pressure. And at point 5, we have again superheated vapor, and this superheated vapor cooled down in the condenser by rejecting its heat to the surrounding. And at state 6, we have saturated liquid at condenser pressure. Now, this entire liquid is expanded from the condenser pressure to the intermediate pressure, like we have done in the flash gas removal system. And in the flash chamber, we have separated the liquid and the vapor. So liquid is coming out and sent to the evaporator through this expansion valve. So 8 to 9 is isenthalpic expansion. And then this liquid plus vapor mixture enter into the evaporator, where it absorbs heat from the low temperature and produce the refrigeration effect. So by absorbing the heat, liquid is converted into the vapor. So at point 1, again, we have saturated vapor. So now let's see the pH diagram of this cycle. So at point 1, we have saturated vapor at evaporator pressure PE. Now, these saturated vapor are compressed from the evaporator pressure to the intermediate pressure PI in the process 1 to 2, which is isentropic compression. Now, these vapor are cooled down in the water intercooler with the help of water in the process isobaric heat rejection. So, in this process, the pressure remains constant and the superheated vapor remove its heat. So, it's process 2 to 3. Okay, so 2 to 3 is isobaric heat rejection in the water intercooler. Now, at point 3, again we have superheated vapor. Now, this superheated vapor will convert into the saturated vapor when we bubble through the superheated vapor in the flash chamber. So, it will convert into the saturated vapor. Now, this saturated vapor sent into the compressor second, where it gets compressed isentropically and pressure is increased from the intermediate pressure to the condenser pressure. So, 4 to 5 is isentropic compression. Then 5 to 6 is heat removal in the condenser, and at point 6 we have saturated liquid. This saturated liquid expands in the isenthalpic process 6 to 7 from the condenser pressure to the intermediate pressure, and at point 7 we have liquid plus vapor mixture. So we separated the liquid and vapor. So at point 8 we have saturated liquid at intermediate pressure, and this liquid is sent into the through the expansion valve to the evaporator, and in the process isenthalpic expansion or throttling 8 to 9 and at the end of this process we have liquid plus vapor at evaporator pressure. So after that there is a heat absorption in the evaporator, and this liquid refrigerant convert into the vapor, and at point 1 we have saturated vapor. So we can easily calculate, we can apply the thermodynamic analysis and can calculate the COP of this system. Okay, so we have already know all the basics, and notes is also provided, and all the detailed explanation is available in the notes. Okay, so now next move to the next system, which is multi-evaporator system. So as we have discussed, we have multi-pressure system. So multi-pressure system can be the system in which more than one compressor or in which more than one evaporator. Okay, so this system is multi-evaporator system. It means in the system there is more than one evaporator. So in the system we have two evaporators. So there is a pressure limit of PE1 and PE2. So there is two evaporator pressure, and third one is condenser pressure. So in this pressure, in the system we have more than two pressure limits. So it is a multi-stage system, and these systems are required where we required refrigeration in two different temperature range. Okay, so this evaporator will produce refrigeration in some different temperature, suppose TC1, which may be 10 degrees centigrade, and another evaporator will produce the refrigeration effect. Sorry, this maybe must be 2. So this may be minus 10. So we required refrigeration at two different temperatures. So that's why we are using two evaporators. Otherwise, we have to use two different systems. Okay, but if we are using multi-evaporator system, we can done the refrigeration at two different temperatures with a single system. Okay, so let's discuss the working of this multi-evaporator system. So at point 1, we have saturated vapor. So the outlet of this evaporator 1 is saturated vapor. And the saturated vapor enter into the compressor, and suppose this mass flow rate is M1 and this mass flow rate is M2. So it means M2 minus M1 is coming from here. So we will discuss it. Then after that, after the compression, there is a isentropic compression from 8 to 2. And at point 2, we have superheated vapor. This superheated vapor. So we have done the compression from evaporator pressure to the condenser pressure directly. So you should note that point. In the multi-evaporator system, we have only one compressor. So we have done the directly compression from the evaporator pressure to the condenser pressure. And 2 point, we have superheated vapor. This superheated vapor enter into the condenser where it rejects its heat in the isobaric process. And at point 3, we have a saturated liquid at condenser pressure. Now, from this 3 point, we have again two processes, 3 to 4 and 3 to 5. And both the processes are isenthalpic expansion. So 3 to 4 is isenthalpic expansion from the condenser pressure to the evaporator pressure of second. So second evaporator pressure. And in the process 3 to 5, we have isenthalpic expansion from the condenser pressure to the first evaporator pressure. Okay. Since the mass flow rate which is going into the condenser is M2, so the mass flow rate which is going into the compressor second must be M2 minus M1. Okay, so this mass flow rate will be M2 minus M1, and M1 mass flow rate is sent into the compressor 1 through the expansion wall. Okay, so the mass flow rate which is going into the evaporator second is M2 minus M1. Okay. Now, in this process 3 to 4, we have expanded the liquid. How much liquid? The mass flow rate is M2 dot minus M1 dot. Okay, so this liquid will be expanded, and at point 4 we have liquid plus vapor mixture at which pressure? Evaporator, second evaporator pressure. Okay, and this liquid absorbs heat in the evaporator second and produce the refrigeration effect in the evaporator second. Okay, and at point 6 we have saturated vapor. Now this saturated vapor sent through a pressure relieving valve 6 to 7, where its pressure is reduced from 6 to 7. So 6 to 7 is a isenthalpic expansion, okay, in which pressure is reduced. Now this 7 point and 1 point is mixed. So the mass flow rate which is coming out from the evaporator second is M2 dot minus M1, and the mass flow rate which is coming out from the evaporator 1 is M dot. So at point 8, how much mass flow rate we have? Yes? कितना mass flow rate है? विशेष?
Yes sir, total is
M dot.
कितना?
M total होगा सर.
टोटल क्या होगा वही तो मैं पूछ रहा हूँ. M1 is coming from here and M2 minus M1 is coming from here. So at point 8, how much mass flow rate we have?
Sir, M2.
M2.
M dot 2. Okay. So this is the schematic diagram. So let's first see the pH diagram of this multi-evaporator system. Then we will discuss this schematic diagram again. Okay. So this is the pH diagram of this multi-evaporator system. So 8 to 2 is isentropic compression, and at point 2 we have superheated vapor at condenser pressure. So this superheated vapor cool down in the condenser by rejecting its heat to the environment, and at point 3 we have saturated liquid. So in the compressor we are dealing with a mass flow rate of m.2. So at the outlet of the condenser the mass flow rate is m.2. Now from point 2 we have two processes, 3 to 4 and 3 to 5. 3 to 4 is the isenthalpic expansion from the condenser pressure to the second evaporator pressure. And in this process, the mass flow rate is, how much mass flow rate?
Sir, M2 minus M1.
M2 minus M1. So we are sending only M2 minus M1 in the process 3 to 4, and at point 4 we have liquid plus vapor mixture at pressure, second evaporator pressure. Okay. Now this liquid plus vapor mixture enter into the second evaporator, where it absorbs the heat from the low temperature or the temperature which we required in the second evaporator, and at the outlet of the second evaporator the refrigerant state is saturated vapor. Now this saturated vapor pass through the pressure relieving valve 6 to 7. So there is a isenthalpic expansion, and due to this expansion the process 6 to 7, and at the end of this process we have superheated vapor at state 7. So you can also see at point 6 we have saturated vapor, and 6 to 7 is a pressure relieving, the saturated vapor pass through the pressure relieving valve, and where isenthalpic expansion is occur. So pressure is reduced from the second evaporator pressure to the first evaporator pressure. So in the process 6 to 7, pressure is dropped from second evaporator pressure to the first evaporator pressure. This point is clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 6 to 7 pressure is decreased from the second evaporator pressure to the first evaporator pressure. And the state of the 7 point is superheated, this point. Now, this superheated vapor mixed with this saturated vapor. This superheated vapor mixed with the saturated vapor. Pressure is decreased from the second evaporator pressure to the first evaporator pressure. So it means the vapor, superheated vapors available at point 7 has pressure PE1, and the point at point 1 the pressure is PE1. So these 2 points are in the same pressure. So when they mix, the final enthalpy is H8, and the new state is 8, which is lies between the 1 and 7. There is any confusion? This point is clear. When the superheated vapor mixed with the saturated vapor, the final state is superheated, but the enthalpy is decreased. This point is clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Okay. So at point 8, we have superheated vapor. Now this superheated vapor enter into the compressor second, where compressor, एक ही compressor है तो compressor में जाएगा, और in the compressor there is a isentropic process from 8 to 2. So you can also see in the schematic diagram the compression process from 8 to 2. Okay. So now this diagram is clear. The system is clear. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Srikanth?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Diagram is clear? Okay. So, can we move further? आगे बढ़े?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can we move to the next topic? Okay. So now, before going to enter into the next topic, let's first discuss the limitation of multi-stage compression system. So the next system is cascade system, And why we require the cascade system? When we have multi-pressure system, why we require cascade system? What is the limitation of this multi-stage compression system? Okay, so the one of the limitation is which is associated with the refrigerant. Okay, so you cannot find a refrigerant which has very high critical temperature and very low freezing point. Okay, so if you have a refrigerant which has very low freezing point, its critical pressure or critical temperature is also low. For example, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide has very low freezing point in range of -78, but the critical point temperature of the carbon dioxide is 30 degrees centigrade or 31 degrees centigrade. Okay. Similarly, nitrous oxide also has a very low freezing point, but the critical temperature is low. And the refrigerant whose critical temperature is very high, like ammonia, but the normal boiling point is -33.33. So you don't have any refrigerant which can produce the refrigeration effect of in range of -100 degrees centigrade. So if you want to produce the refrigeration effect in -100 degrees centigrade, you must reject the heat to the environment. So the condenser pressure is fixed. Condenser temperature must be 5 degrees higher than the environmental temperature. So condenser temperature is fixed. And if your evaporator temperature is too low, you have to choose a refrigerant like that whose freezing point is less than -100 degrees centigrade. Otherwise, refrigerant will be freeze in the evaporator. And if its condenser critical temperature is lower than the 40 degrees centigrade or environmental temperature, then the cycle will not remain in the vapor phase. Okay, so it is very difficult to find out the refrigerant like that. Since only one refrigerant is used throughout the system, जितने भी मल्टी स्टेज सिस्टम है हम उसमें कंप्रेसर दो कंप्रेसर यूज कर सकते थे, दो इवेपोरेटर यूज कर सकते थे, मगर हम उसमें रेफ्रिजरेंट एक ही रख रहे थे. दिस इज द लिमिटेशन. ठीक है, so only one refrigerant is used throughout the system, and the refrigerant used should have high critical temperature and low freezing point, which is not possible. ऐसा कोई रेफ्रिजरेंट है ही नहीं जिसका फ्रीजिंग पॉइंट बहुत कम हो और क्रिटिकल टेम्परेचर बहुत ज्यादा हो. जिसका फ्रीजिंग पॉइंट कम हो है उसका क्रिटिकल पॉइंट भी कम है. And second reason is the possibility of the migration of the lubricant from the one compressor to the another and leading to the compressor breakdown. So ऐसा पॉसिबल है कि एक कंप्रेसर रेफ्रिजरेंट के साथ लुब्रिकेंट एक कंप्रेसर से दूसरे कंप्रेसर में जा सकता है और पहले कंप्रेसर में लुब्रिकेंट की कमी हो सकती है और वहां पर वीआर और टीएल की वजह से कंप्रेसर ब्रेकडाउन हो सकता है. As we have already discussed, this compressor is the main component in the vapor compression system and it is too costly. 60 to 70% cost of the refrigerating system. So these are the limitation of the multi-stage compression system. Okay, so now move to the next system, that is cascade refrigeration system. Okay, so the cascade refrigeration system is equivalent to two or more independent simple vapor compression system using refrigerant which have progressively lower boiling point. So we have seen the limitation that we don't have any refrigerant which has very low freezing point and very high critical temperature. So what will we do? We will use 2 or 3 different single stage systems. So we have already seen the single stage system or vapor compression system. So we will use the series of single stage units. So we will use the series of single stage units, okay, which are thermally coupled through cascade heat exchanger. Okay, and this cascade heat exchanger is used to couple two single stage units. Suppose we have one single stage unit and we have another single stage unit. Okay, and these two single stage units are coupled with the help of cascade heat exchanger. So this is the cascade heat exchanger which connect first system and second system. Okay, so this cascade heat exchanger act as a condenser. So at this point we have evaporator, then compressor, then condenser. So this cascade heat exchanger act as a condenser for lower temperature circuit and as a evaporator from the higher temperature circuit. So why this is higher temperature circuit and why this is lower temperature circuit? So far we have understand in the cascade system we use more than one single stage unit. Okay, so जो हमारा वेपर कंप्रेशन सिस्टम है, ठीक है, उस ऐसे दो से ज्यादा सिस्टम हम यूज कर सकते हैं कैस्केड सिस्टम में. अब दोनों सिस्टम्स को हम आपस में कपल करते हैं विद द हेल्प ऑफ कैस्केड हीट एक्सचेंजर. थर्ड इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट कि जो दोनों सिस्टम है इन दोनों में रेफ्रिजरेंट अलग अलग है. पहले सिस्टम में रेफ्रिजरेंट अलग है, दूसरे सिस्टम में रेफ्रिजरेंट अलग है. पहले सिस्टम में जो रेफ्रिजरेंट होगा उसका नॉर्मल बॉइलिंग पॉइंट हायर होगा इन कंपैरिजन टू सेकंड सिस्टम. तो यानी कि जो पहले सिस्टम में जो रेफ्रिजरेंट होगा इसका नॉर्मल बॉइलिंग पॉइंट हाई होगा और जो दूसरा सिस्टम है उसमें जो नॉर्मल बॉइलिंग पॉइंट होगा वो लो होगा. फॉर एग्जांपल इन द हायर सिस्टम वी यूज्ड अमोनिया NH3 and the normal boiling point of the ammonia is -33 degree centigrade. Okay, so the normal boiling point of the ammonia is -33 degree centigrade. So what is normal boiling point? It means the boiling point at atmospheric pressure, 1 atmospheric pressure. Okay, 1 bar. And in the lower temperature circuit, we use the refrigerant whose normal boiling point is lower than the ammonia. So in the lower temperature circuit, we use carbon dioxide. And for the carbon dioxide, the normal boiling point is -55. So we use 2 single stage units and each system has different refrigerant. And we choose the refrigerant such that the normal boiling point decrease. Okay, so we use in the higher temperature circuit, we use the refrigerant which has normal boiling point higher than the lower temperature circuit. Okay, so this point is clear. This point is clear. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
तो अभी तक हमने क्या समझा कि कैस्केड हीट एक्सचेंजर में हम क्या करते हैं, एक से ज्यादा हम सिस्टम लेते हैं. जो हमारे सिंगल स्टेज सिस्टम है एक से ज्यादा लेते हैं, दोनों को थर्मली कपल करते हैं. थर्मली कपल करते हैं मतलब हीट की फॉर्म में कपल करता है. ओके, और यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है, कपल किससे करते हैं, कैस्केड हीट एक्सचेंजर. जो कैस्केड हीट एक्सचेंजर है वो दोनों तरीके से काम कर रहा है. वो कंडेंसर भी है, वो इवेपोरेटर भी है. वो जो ऊपर वाला सर्किट है उसके लिए क्या है, इवेपोरेटर, और जो नीचे वाला सर्किट है उसके लिए क्या है, कंडेंसर. सो इट एक्ट एज अ इवेपोरेटर फॉर हाई टेम्परेचर सर्किट एंड कंडेंसर फ्रॉम लो टेम्परेचर सर्किट. जनरली 2 सर्किट आर यूज्ड. 2 सिस्टम को हम आपस में कपल करते हैं, दैट इज कैस्केड सिस्टम. और रेयरली 3 सर्किट सिस्टम आर यूज. तो 2 सिस्टम को कपल करेंगे, जो भी टेम्परेचर अटेन करना है हम रेफरेंस चूज करेंगे, एक जिसका नॉर्मल बॉइलिंग पॉइंट हाई होगा और एक का जिसका लो होगा. जिस भी टेम्परेचर रेंज में चाहिए हम उस अकॉर्डिंग रेफरेंस चूज करते हैं और हम कैस्केड रेफ्रिजरेशन सिस्टम के थ्रू रेफ्रिजरेशन प्रोसेस अटेन करते हैं. ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि हम 3 या 3 से ज्यादा सिस्टम भी लगा सकते हैं. मगर 2 से ज्यादा सिस्टम क्यों नहीं लगाते हैं, क्योंकि जैसे जैसे हम कैस्केड सिस्टम में सिस्टम जोड़ते चले जाएंगे तो हमारे नंबर ऑफ कंप्रेसर्स बढ़ते जाएंगे, हमारे नंबर ऑफ एक्सपेंशन वाल्व, इवेपोरेटर, तो कंपोनेंट बढ़ते जा रहे हैं और हर कंपोनेंट के साथ कुछ ना कुछ इरिवर्सिबिलिटी होती है. तो हमारी जो COP है वो डिक्रीज करती चली जाएगी. ओके, इसीलिए जनरली हम 2 सर्किट का सिस्टम ही यूज करते हैं ताकि हम जो भी हमारे रेफ्रिजरेशन हमको अटेन करना है वो अटेन कर लें और हमारी COP भी हाई रहे. और कहीं पे अगर जरूरत पड़ी तो रेयरली वी कैन यूज 3 सर्किट कैस्केड सिस्टम. अदरवाइज वी कैन यूज नंबर ऑफ सर्किट जो क्या होंगे, कैस्केड हीट एक्सचेंजर की मदद से आपस में कनेक्टेड होंगे. मगर अगर हम 2 से ज्यादा सिस्टम यूज कर रहे हैं तो वहां पर हमारी ऑब्वियसली बात है कि COP डिक्रीज करेगी. So each circuit of the cascade system use different refrigerant. So I have already discussed and how we choose the refrigerant in decreasing in the normal boiling point. यानी कि जो पहला सिस्टम होगा उसमें थोड़ा जो भी रेफ्रिजरेंट होगा उसका नॉर्मल बॉइलिंग पॉइंट हाई होगा और जो सेकंड सिस्टम होगा उसमें नॉर्मल बॉइलिंग पॉइंट कम होगा। अगर हम 3 सर्किट यूज कर रहे हैं तो थर्ड वन होगा, उसका नॉर्मल बॉइलिंग पॉइंट और ज्यादा कम होना चाहिए, तभी हमारा कैस्केड सिस्टम वर्क करेगा। So now let's see the schematic diagram of this cascade refrigeration system. So you can see there are two circuits. So this is the first high temperature circuit and second one is low temperature circuit. So in the higher temperature circuit, the refrigerant is different, and the low temperature circuit, the refrigerant is different. In the high temperature circuit, the refrigerant has higher normal boiling point, and in the lower temperature circuit, the refrigerant has lower normal boiling point. So let's start from the low temperature circuit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the high temperature circuit, the numbering is 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash, 4 dash. Or you can use 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So at point 1, we have outlet of the evaporator, which is at low temperature. Okay. So this outlet of this evaporator is saturated vapor, and this saturated vapor enter into the compressor first, where W1 work is supplied, and in the isentropic process, the pressure is increased from the evaporator pressure to the cascade heat exchanger pressure. Okay, तो यहाँ पर हमने इसका प्रेशर इंक्रीज किया है आइसेंट्रोपिक कंप्रेशन में, and then 2 to 3 is condensation. So heat will be rejected. So in the cascade heat exchanger, the refrigerant will reject its heat. So at point 3, after the heat rejection, in the isobaric heat rejection, after the isobaric heat rejection at point 3, we have saturated liquid. This saturated liquid pass through the expansion wall, where pressure is reduced from P3 to P4. Okay. And at this point, we have a liquid plus vapor mixture which enter into the evaporator and where it absorbs the heat. And at point 1, again, we have saturated vapor. Now, so this is the low temperature circuit, and the refrigerant is generally CO2, for example. तो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड के हमारे पास सैचुरेटेड वेपर थे, उनको हमने कंप्रेस किया, W1 सप्लाई हुआ, सुपर हीटेड वेपर में कन्वर्ट हुए। जब वो कैस्केड हीट एक्सचेंजर में गए तो वहां पर उनका क्या हुआ, हीट रिजेक्ट हुई। कितनी हीट रिजेक्ट करी, Q dot Hx. How much heat is rejected? Q dot Hx. And this heat is rejected in the cascade heat exchanger. Now, after the heat rejection, the state is saturated liquid. So carbon dioxide convert हो गया saturated liquid में at higher pressure in comparison to the evaporator. After that, the expansion will occur, and this higher pressure to the evaporator pressure again. Pressure is reduced. So with the pressure, temperature is also reduced, and at point 4, we have liquid plus vapor mixture. Now again, in the higher temperature circuit, we have ammonia. In the higher temperature circuit, we have ammonia. Okay. So the normal boiling point of the ammonia is higher than in comparison to the carbon dioxide. The normal boiling point of the ammonia is -33, मगर carbon dioxide का उससे भी कम है. Okay. So at point 1, we have saturated vapor of ammonia, and this sent into the compressor where it gets compressed. And at point 2, we have superheated vapor. This superheated vapor rejects its heat to the condenser, in the condenser to the environment. Okay. So at point 3 dash, we have saturated liquid, and this saturated liquid expands through the expansion wall. At point 4, the pressure is reduced, and we have liquid plus vapor mixture, which enter into the cascade heat exchanger. Now, the heat rejected by the lower temperature circuit, Q dot Hx, is completely absorbed by this circuit, higher temperature circuit, in the cascade heat exchanger. So the heat rejected by the lower temperature circuit is absorbed by the higher temperature circuit. Okay. So how much heat is absorbed? H dot Hx. And after the absorption of this heat, at point 1 dash, we have saturated vapor. So how we balance this? कि Q dot Hx heat absorb करके ही ये सारा का सारा जितना भी इसमें लिक्विड था वो वेपर में कन्वर्ट हो गया. So for that, we will do the mass balance. So in the lower temperature circuit, M dot L is the flow rate or refrigerant flow rate, and in the higher temperature circuit, it is M dot H. So this subscript H for the higher temperature circuit and this L for the lower temperature circuit. Okay. So now we have understand this is the cascade heat exchanger in which we coupled two different systems, two different single stage systems, and these two systems have different refrigerant also. And these two systems are coupled with the help of this cascade heat exchanger. And this cascade heat exchanger acts as a condenser for the lower temperature circuit and evaporator from the higher temperature circuit. Okay. So now let's see the pH diagram. Then this will be more clear to us. So this is the pH diagram. Okay. So 1 to 2 is isentropic compression, then 2 to 3 is the isobaric heat rejection, 3 to 4 isenthalpic expansion, and 4 to 1 is evaporation or refrigeration effect or heat absorb at constant pressure. So this is the liquid vapor dome for the carbon dioxide. This is the liquid vapor dome for the carbon dioxide. Now we will plot the liquid vapor dome and the cycle for the higher temperature circuit also. So this is the liquid vapor dome for the ammonia or higher temperature circuit refrigerant. And the cycle is 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash, 4 dash. 1 dash to 2 dash isentropic compression, 2 dash to 3 dash isobaric heat rejection, 3 dash to 4 dash isenthalpic expansion, and 4 dash to 1 dash isobaric heat absorption. So the amount of heat rejected by the lower temperature circuit is absorbed by the higher temperature circuit. So to absorb this heat, there must be a temperature difference. And since this lower temperature circuit has to reject this heat, so it must be at a higher temperature than this evaporator temperature. So there must be a temperature for the heat transfer. There must be a temperature difference. And this lower temperature circuit has to reject its heat. And this higher temperature circuit will absorb this heat. So the temperature of this low temperature circuit will be higher than this point. So there is a temperature difference, and this temperature difference should be maintained at least 5 degrees centigrade. Okay, so if you reduce this temperature difference, the size of this cascade heat exchanger will be increased. Okay, and if you increase this temperature difference, your COP will be decreased. So this temperature difference should be optimal, which is maintained at least 5 degrees centigrade. Okay, so this is the pH diagram. If you have any doubt, you can ask. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Any doubt? सब क्लियर है बेटा?
सर टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस 5 से ज्यादा हो?
यस बेटा. कौन पूछ रहा है, नाम बताओ अपना.
सर
हाँ वैभव, बताइए बेटा.
सर जो टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस सही है, मतलब 5 से ज्यादा हो सकता है सर?
5 से ज्यादा भी हो सकता है. देखिए 5 से ज्यादा भी हो सकता है, 10 भी हो सकता है, 20 भी हो सकता है. इन दैट केस द साइज ऑफ दिस कैस्केड हीट एक्सचेंजर इज ऑल्सो रिड्यूस्ड. जो कैस्केड हीट एक्सचेंजर का साइज है वो कम हो जाएगा. ठीक है, मगर आपकी सीओपी बेटा डिक्रीज कर जाएगी. क्यों डिक्रीज करेगी? देखिए टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस कब बढ़ेगा? जब आप इसका कंडेंसर टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज कर देंगे. और कंडेंसर टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज करेंगे तो आपकी नई साइकिल कैसे होगी? ऐसे होगी. तो इस लोअर टेम्परेचर सर्किट की सीओपी कम हो गई
सर,
तो ओवरऑल सीओपी भी कम हो जाएगी. चलो आपने कहा कि सर ऐसे नहीं करेंगे हम टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस, हम ऐसे करेंगे कि हम इसको ही नीचे कर देंगे. इसको ही नीचे कर दो तो आपकी नई साइकिल ऐसे हो जाएगी. टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस बढ़ गया, मगर अब हायर टेम्परेचर सर्किट की सीओपी कम हो जाएगी, तो ओवरऑल सीओपी कम हो जाएगी. ओके, सो देखिए यहाँ पर दो चीजें हैं. अगर आप टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस को कम करते हैं तो आपकी दोनों साइकिल की सीओपी बढ़ेगी, मगर इस हीट एक्सचेंजर को सेम हीट ट्रांसफर करने के लिए साइज बड़ा हो जाएगा, सरफेस एरिया इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा, तो कॉस्ट इंक्रीज कर जाएगी. और अगर आप टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस को बढ़ाते हैं तो आपका जो ये हीट ट्रांसफर का सरफेस एरिया है वो कम हो जाएगा, कॉस्ट कम हो जाएगी, मगर सीओपी कम हो जाएगी, तो आपकी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का कंजप्शन ज्यादा हो जाएगा. सो यू हैव टू डू द ऑप्टिमाइजेशन. यहाँ पर ऑप्टिमाइजेशन करना पड़ेगा कि आपका जो कैस्केड हीट एक्सचेंजर का साइज है वो भी ज्यादा बढ़े ना, और जो आपका सीओपी है दोनों साइकिल्स की वो भी ज्यादा घटे ना. क्लियर? सो 5 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड इज ऑप्टिमल टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस. क्लियर?
सर. यस सर.
ओके. Good. So the temperature difference in the cascade heat exchanger, we can write delta T as temperature of condensation in the lower temperature circuit. So we have already discussed this the condensation temperature of the lower temperature circuit will be higher than the evaporation temperature of the higher temperature circuit. So that the temperature difference is Tc LTC minus Te of STC. So we can also write the energy balance. It means the heat rejected by the lower temperature circuit is Q dot Hx, and it is absorbed by the high temperature circuit. So the heat rejected in the condensation process of the lower temperature circuit is absorbed by the the high temperature circuit in the evaporation process of high temperature circuit. So we can write, so you can see how much heat is rejected in the condensation process. How much heat is rejected? H2 minus H3, and the mass flow rate is m dot L. So the how much amount of heat is rejected in the cascade heat exchanger? M dot L H2 minus H3. Similarly, how much heat is absorbed? Yes, how much heat is absorbed?
Sir, m dot L
M dot
H1
H.
dash minus H4.
M dot H. Yeah.
Yes, sir. M dot H.
M dot H. The mass flow rate in the higher temperature circuit is M dot H. Okay. So we can write M dot L H2 minus H3 must be equal to M dot H H1 dash minus H4 dash. It means the heat rejected by the lower temperature circuit in the cascade heat exchanger is completely absorbed by the higher temperature circuit. Okay. So what is the COP? COP is defined as a desired effect upon required input. So we can write the separate COP. COP of lower temperature circuit and COP of higher temperature circuit. So what is the COP of the lower temperature circuit? QL upon WL. So how much is QL? M dot L H1 minus H4 divided by how much work is supplied? M dot L H2 minus H1. All are agree? All are
Yes,
agree?
sir.
This is
Yes.
the refrigeration that is produced, and this is the work supply. And can you tell me what is the COP of the higher temperature circuit?
Sir, Q dot H over W dot H.
Q, yes, Q dot
H.
H.
Yes, sir.
Q dot H क्या है?
W H.
Q dot H क्या है? वैल्यू बताओ.
Sir, M dot H H3 dash minus H2 dash minus H1. H3. Sorry. H2 dash minus H3.
Q dash यहाँ से साइकिल लिख के बताओ.
Sir, H1 dash minus H4.
Okay, so we will not write QH. QH is amount of heat rejected to the surrounding. It is Q dot Hx. Okay, and it will be MH H1 minus H4. H1 minus H1 dash minus H4 dash. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we can write the COP of heat high temperature circuit is Q dot Hx upon WH, and the value of Q dot Hx is M dot H H1 dash minus H4 dash divided by M dot H H2 dash minus H1 dash. और we can write this, और इसके लिए क्या लिख सकते हैं बेटा हम? Anyone? इसको और क्या लिख सकते हैं हम? इसको इसके लिए कुछ और भी लिख सकते हैं हम? क्या ये लिख सकते हैं? M dot L H2 minus H3. Yes or no? Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Because these two values are equal. So we can write also M dot L H2 minus H3. Okay. So we can write also this. But we will not write क्योंकि यहाँ पर sense नहीं आएगा. So this is the COP of high temperature. Okay. And if we write the COP of this cascade refrigeration system, first we have write the COP of the lower temperature circuit, then we write the COP of the higher temperature circuit. Now we are writing the COP of the entire system, cascade system. So it will be cascade, COP will be desired effect upon required input. So desired effect is Q dot L. So refrigeration effect हमको सिर्फ यहाँ मिल रहा है, Q dot L. And how much we have to supply the work? W dot L plus W dot H. This is okay? All are agree?
Yes,
Any
sir.
doubt?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there is a small derivation, and we can write the COP of the cascade system in terms of higher temperature circuit and lower temperature circuit. Okay. And the COP of the cascade is COP of the lower temperature circuit multiplied by COP of higher temperature circuit divided by 1 plus COP of lower temperature circuit plus COP of higher temperature circuit. So you can derive this expression by putting the values. Okay. So this is the small derivation which you can perform. So this is your assignment. Try to derive this COP of the cascade system. Okay, in terms of lower temperature COP of lower temperature circuit and higher temperature circuit. You have these three equations, and with the help of these three equations, you can derive this expression. Okay, so this is all in the second unit. So all the theory has been completed. Now only numerical part is remaining, and we will complete these numerical in 2 to 3 days. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, you can leave the class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.